first guest. Now we got
What's
my
your
lovely
I
sister on
don't
here. What's up,
sound
sis?
brother. Y'all talking shit. I heard him at the end.
I don't want no smoke. I don't want no smoke.
You right though. I don't give a fuck. You
You,
absolutely.
you know I know you. I said, sis don't give a fuck about nothing.
Not, I'm about to be 40 years old this motherfucking month. I don't give a shit about shit. I'm gonna do me.
That's right. That's right.
What's up, brother? I miss you.
Man, I miss you too, sis. How you been doing, man? Good afternoon.
Man, I'm good. I just got back from boxing. Took a hot ass shower. I feel good.
Oh, okay. Oh, you just got back from boxing?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Was it cool?
Sparring today. Yeah, it was cool.
Oh, you sparred today?
Yeah.
How was it?
Working. And I gotta work on my defense, bro. I keep getting hit in the face. It ain't cool.
Be tapping your ass.
Don't ask men too. Like, damn, I'm a bitch. Will you relax?
Oh my God. Oh,
Stop
man.
hitting the bitch in the face. Damn. Listen, I'm slowly improving with time.
No, that's good. No, I know. You've been doing a lot, sis. That's why I want you to come on here. You've been doing a lot. You've been doing a lot. So, that just give people a little introduction, man, about you. Who you is. Where you from. And we're going to go from there. Because I got a couple things I want to ask you. I want to pick your brain about a couple things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, let's do it. My name is Faye, and I'm the founder, owner, and artistic director of Bliss Urban Art Center, Bliss Dance Company, and Bliss Life Massage and Reiki. So I own 3 businesses. That's the main intro. I've been teaching dance since I was 15, and I'm pushing 40. And I've owned my dance company almost 18 years, and we've had our for over a decade now. So for a new building, hopefully after this COVID shit is over, I can get into a new space. That's what I've been waiting for the last couple years.
Man, that's dope. That's dope. That's
Thank
a lot of fact right there. You actually just gave me my points of where I was going. So let's get into this shit. You know what I'm saying? We finna talk. So, you are a owner of a dance studio, and that's not an easy thing to do. So I want to know, what's the process like and the sequence like of trying to get a studio, and how do that whole process work to even try to go that route if you wanted to go that route?
So for me, it was a lot of trial and error. I did not have like a huge financial backing at all. Everything I had to basically scrape up on my own. I didn't have a lot of like support as far as like people gearing me in the right direction for that. It was everything I wanted to do and nothing others wanted for me, kind of a thing. So it was trial and error as far as like, I'm going to start a dance company. How much should I charge monthly? And then ended up charging too little, and then not realizing, like, ending up in debt because I was not, compromising from my time and my fees, and then like paying rent, not realizing like overhead. So the first 7 years, we were very just low, community based, barely competing. Like, I barely made any money. I was probably putting myself in the hole the first 7 years ish. And then we got into our building, and then my bills quadrupled, and I did not know what I was getting myself into. I had no like major business sense. Everything was like, I strive off hustling. Like, that's how I grew up, So
Right.
I was figuring it out because I had to, not because I knew like the proper way to run business. I was always on just survival mode. So my biggest thing is like, I feel like I made the mistake of going about it that way, but I also feel like I'm grateful I went about it that way too, because it taught me so much about business, about like how to deal with people and how to deal with my money, and how to like really pay myself for my time, and like not always giving more than I'm receiving and shit like that.
Right.
It taught me a lot. So I am grateful that I feel like I got everything out the mud when it came to the beginning of the studio and the company, because I had no financial support. Everything was like me working at Starbucks, going to college, saving Starbucks money, teaching rec classes at community center, saving that money, putting it towards, taking money from this little pot I got to put in this little pot just to figure it out, just to make, and then finally was like, oh, I could do this. I could do this. Maybe I should do this. Maybe I should try that. And then finally like started hiring people, or getting to a point where my dancers got old enough to where I can hire my own students and make them staff. And then that's when things started to really expand, because then I could take a step back, delegate, show them the way, pay them, and, oversee. That's where I'm at now, where I'm in a great place where I can like oversee and direct and artistically direct and not have to have my hand in everything, It's got to the point, So yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot. But I'm kind of glad I had to go through it that hard way in the beginning, because otherwise, if everything was handed to me easily and I had all this financial, I feel like I wouldn't be in the same mindset I am today if I was just blessed from beginning. Like, I personally don't believe in that, even when it comes to, how a lot of folks say, like, I don't want my kids to struggle. I respect that.
Yeah.
But I also feel like your kids need to have thick skin and know what it's like to struggle sometimes. They need to at least understand what that feels like. Because how are they going to be able to cope with something when something bad happens later? How are they going to be able to cope with that if they never experienced it? So in a way, I'm hella glad I experienced all that. But if I can help the next person avoid the shit I did wrong, I want to give them that game. Because I'm like, I'm not going to hand feed you everything to get your shit right. You got to figure it out. You got to hustle the way I did. But here's what you shouldn't do, because this is where I fucked up. Right?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to game the next generation. I don't want to see people fuck up the way I did and end up in debt like me. I want to see people win. So that's where I'm at. Here's my coffee.
I want to see people win. That's a powerful line within itself. I want to see people win.
For sure. Fuck, who wouldn't want to see others win? Like, that's sick.
Right. Hey, you live in a sick world.
Sick.
You know what I'm saying? That's dope. No, that's dope. So.
Hey, Derek. Hey, B-Rad. Hey, Heather.
Oh yeah, I see you got some of your loved ones on here, man.
What's up, y'all? Aw, hella cute. Anyway, yeah. What's up with you, man? What else?
So when did you first feel like you got like inspired, or when was like your first love when you got into dance? Like, when did you get into dancing? When did it become your love? Like, oh, this is something I really want to do.
Yeah, I was little. I was probably, I don't know, 6 or 7. Back in the Bay, I grew up in Daly City. So in the Bay Area, there was a TV show called CMC Music Channel. Don't know if you know what that is, but it was in the Bay Area. Chuy Gomez was the host.
Oh, yeah.
He would play all the music videos, and I would watch like Paula Abdul, Janet Jackson. I'd be like copying all the motherfucking moves. Like, oh my God, I love this. Like, I found a love for dance at a really young age. It was like the one thing that brought me joy during like a hard upbringing. And I realized like dance was the one thing that will never turn my back on me. Woo, right? That's powerful. I know that sounds
hard. Talk to him. That's why I brought you on. Talk to him.
Like, it was the one thing I knew would never turn its back on me. It would never stop loving me. It's the way people see dogs, their pets, how dogs are loyal and loving, right? That's how I can relate to it with people who like have a love for their pet, right? I look at dance that way. Dance will never not be there. Dance is never not loyal to me. Anytime I need to dance, dance is there. Dance brings me joy. Think about it. Anytime you want to dance, is dance available? Yes. Turn on music. So if you relate dance to anything, a person, a pet, whatever the fuck it may be, it's the same thing. Dance brought me the same type of joy that any person could have, right? So I started at a really young age. I was copying music videos on CMC Music Channel. I was like learning off of music videos like Aaliyah when I was getting a little bit older, like 7th, 8th grade, and all that. And so I taught myself how to dance, just like most street dancers did. I taught myself, like, I already had rhythm, but I taught myself how to pick up choreography. And then like one time my mom was like, fine, I'll stick you in a dance class. She let me take a class for like a year, then yanked me out of it because like, what the fuck is this? You're not doing this shit no more. This is not what Arabic girls do, right? That type of thing. So yanked me out of it. But then in junior high, I was like, let me at least do cheerleading shit. Like, throw me in something. I want to fucking dance. So they let me do cheer all through high school and 8th grade. And then that's what taught me like discipline and how to dance tight and strong and all that shit. And then as soon as I got a job at 16, I said, oh, my money, I can do whatever I want with it. I'm going to dance class. So that's when I started putting myself through classes and programs. And when I went to college, I paid for college. So I put myself through all the dance classes in college. I was like, since now I have my own money, I can put it into whatever I want to do at that point. So when I was little, they wouldn't really support it. But when I got older, I just started putting myself through all the programs. But yeah, I would say 6 or 7. My sister used to make fun of me. She'd walk in the bedroom and I'd be dancing to like Motown Philly by Boyz II Men, like hitting a Running Man hella hard for no reason. Like, and she would always just be like, why are you dancing? But now this bitch is a Zumba instructor. It's like, fuck you. Dance too, bitch. Why are you making fun of me? Hella funny.
That's hella funny. That's crazy.
Funny, man. It's funny how things, you know, because I always used to think like, why did I love dance so much? And that was really it. It boiled down to like, it's always there for me.
It's always there.
It's therapy. It's like calling your therapist when you need them and they're there at the drop of the hat.
Facts.
Therapy.
Fact. Any dancer can feel that. Anybody can feel that.
What style you do. It's healing. It doesn't matter if you fucking crump or do ballet. It's healing for you, you know?
Facts.
It's important. It's super important. And like everybody needs some sort of outlet. Some people like to paint, like physically paint or rap or do music, whatever. You know, for me, the first one was always dance. Poetry came second, you know. Boxing and all these other things came later in life. But dance was the one that was like my first love, you know, and that'll never go away. You know, you know, we all get like creative block where we don't feel like moving today. Today I'm blocked. I don't feel like moving. I don't feel like creating. But at the end of the day, you can still throw on some music and dance in your head. Ain't that some shit? You can still like think about dancing. It's like,
yeah,
it's really spiritual.
That shit don't turn off. It
no,
don't. That shit never turns off.
No, like even, you know, especially as I get older, I'm like, man, I don't want to choreograph 15 dances for a competition. I want to choreograph 3 dances that feel good to my soul and put them on my teams and watch them at a showcase. You know, like as I get older, I realize I want to pick and choose what I want to teach. When I was young, when I was 20, I wanted to teach 50 things to 500 kids and put it all on stage and do every competition. I don't give a fuck about none of that no more. Now I'm like, let me give those paid opportunities to my staff who I trained, who used to be Bliss kids, so I can feed my family. Let them enjoy those things I used to enjoy 20 years ago. Now let me enjoy the things I want to enjoy as this almost 40-year-old adult. So like my love for dance never went away, but the way I see dance and the way I create dance and the way I have my love for dance has changed with my age. You know?
Gems. She's spitting out gems now. She's spitting out gems. Yeah, that's why I brought it on here, man. So I brought sis on here. So you know I gotta ask you, that's a part of the show. I ask everybody this on the show. So you've been in the game for a long time. You've been putting in work for a long time. Do you feel like dancers get paid what they deserve?
Absolutely not.
Okay, elaborate.
Well, because, you know, just from the things I've heard and experienced and seen and just how people approach me, like, oh, you'll get exposure. Like, what the fuck? That gonna pay my rent? What? Like, I gotta spend 4 hours choreographing, spend 8 hours teaching the routine to somebody, come up with costumes, drive to the location, stay there for 10 hours. You add all them hours up, you want to give me $100 stipend? You can go wipe your ass with that $100 stipend, bitch.
Talk to them.
Now, every now and then, if it's a local community event, it takes an hour to put something together, really little, doing a friend a favor. You know, sometimes it's like, okay, throw me some gas, feed my kids. It's cool. You know, fine. It depends. It depends on the caliber of what we're doing here. But like, you trying to hire somebody out to go to the Bay Area and do all this, that, and no. It's like, I do feel really bad for a lot of dancers. And what's even worse is some don't know their worth. So they're taking such shit amounts. And then that's creating a standard for people thinking, oh, I can just pay them this much because my last artist accepted $50, so that means anybody will accept $50. No, the fuck we won't.
Oh,
Bliss
fuck.
is a professional dance company, and we will not accept $50. Okay, you got
Talk,
me.
hey,
Yeah.
talk to him. Talk
I
to
be
them. Talk
all
that
the time,
shit. Sis.
like,
Talk that shit.
yeah, tell my dancers all the time, you got to know the difference. Like, sometimes it's okay, depending on the situation, the circumstance, the person, how far do you have to travel, how many hours is it going to take, whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. But if you're making less than $30 an hour, when you boil it down, like, is that worth it? Per hour, if it's, so it just depends. I guess it just depends, but not for the most part. No, dancers don't even know their worth sometimes. But another problem, another real problem, and I'm going to go ahead and say this, is
Talk
there's
about it.
people out there that don't have enough training or knowledge that are getting booked for things. And that's why they're underselling themselves, because they don't even know enough about dance education and training to even know what to charge somebody. And then they're the ones making the professionals look worse. And we're the ones that can't get hired because they're hiring mediocre people. And what's happening is those mediocre people are taking pennies. So it's not just professionals who don't know their worth out there. It's a lot of people who don't even really have training. They're learning off YouTube. They're learning off watching Instagram or TikTok. They don't have no training. I'm not talking about freestylers. That's different. I'm talking about people who do choreography that don't have real standard in-studio training, that are out there like, yeah, I teach classes. Where the fuck did you actually train? I took a class in high school. Like, what the fuck? No training. Like, you should not be teaching no master class. I'm offering a master class. I danced for 2 years in high school or something, like some shit. It's like not proper training. Like, get
Right.
your ass in a studio with directors that actually know what they're doing and train for real. Learn how to count to 8. Learn how to put choreography together. Like, so that's the most annoying thing to me is like, man, people who are like mediocre as fuck, lucking out and getting these gigs and then charging pennies and then fucking making it bad and harder for the ones that are actually out there really trying to get real work for solid wages. But, this is also not my world ultimately, because I never wanted to be one of those types of performers. I never wanted to go on tour. That was never Faye's goal, So I'm a community dancer, community artist, and all my young artists, they have different goals. Like, some of them do want to go off and take gigs like that and get signed to an agency, and some of them don't. But ultimately, I always wanted to be community based. So when I see those things, I'm always looking from the outside eye, because I don't take gigs like that. I don't want to go on a fucking tour or anything. I never wanted to. I mean, it was never like my get down.
So that was never your case from the get go. You was never already cool with that.
Mm-hmm. It was never a goal of mine to be like a background dancer or even like a director of a tour. Like, that was never, none of those things were ever my goal. I never wanted to be an industry dancer. Yeah. Backwards. Usually everybody wants to experience being an industry dancer. That's cool, but then you're living gig to gig. And then what? How are you paying rent? And then if you're on a residency, you're not in your apartment for 2 years. Who's paying rent there? Then you got to move around a lot. And then what about when that residency is over? Then what's the next gig? You got to wait till your next check. And then if you don't have financial support from family, will you make it during those in-between moments? And then what about when you turn 30 and you end up breaking your kneecap and you can't dance ever again? What you going to do now? Like,
That's real.
so
That's real.
much, there's so much of this. So for me, dance wasn't about being a famous backup dancer. Dance was about, how can I survive for the rest of my life on a dance check, doing something that'll be lucrative and fulfilling creatively, where I can help people. And for me, that was open a dance studio and train people. Train people to go in whatever direction they want to go, but let me be the soil for that.
Right.
You can take your branches wherever you want to. You want the industry shit? I'm going to tell you who to talk to.
Facts.
You want to stay in the community? Let's build together. You want to move somewhere and start something in that community? Let me show you how to get started. You want to become a musical theater performer? Let me tell you how to get there, because I did that. right? So there's so many avenues. As
Fact.
long as like I can be the soil, that's where I get my bread and butter. I love being the soil. Let me be that. You know, that's where I get my thrill, helping people, being there for people, mentoring them, not just in dance, but outside. All of
Right.
that. To me, I'm successful because the goals I've always wanted, I've reached. So success to me is not backup dancing for an artist. That's not successful to me. That's not anything I've ever strived for. Now, if someone's striving for that and they reach that goal, that's success for them. That's fucking awesome. Great. It was never my goal. I've reached all of the goals I've wanted to reach in the community except for this new space that I'm manifesting next, that I actually have words and,
Mm.
vision board. I'm trying
Vision.
to manifest it. It's just this COVID shit is, a setback. But after this building, I eventually want to open a restaurant with my sister and
Dope.
get to a point where I own businesses, but I don't run them. I'm getting to that point.
Right.
I've done all my footwork, you know.
That's right. That's right. That's right, sis. That's right. Right. That's right. So, do you feel like in this era, do you feel like since you've been around for a while and you got to see all the different changes over the time, do you feel like this era has more opportunity, or if it's more like the Wild Wild West, it's more leverage, more freedom, or do you feel like we still kind of in the same space on how it was when you first came in?
Oh, there's way more
You know,
opportunity as far as like because of social media. Like people are getting commercials now. Ever since like America's Best Dance Crew and So You Think You Can Dance and those type of shows became a thing. For example, I noticed like the fluctuation in my studio. So when I was subletting at another studio, we had like 40 dancers in the company. And as soon as those TV shows started coming out, 100 dancers in the company, all of a sudden everybody wanted to be a dancer. So if it wasn't for media, TV, social media, YouTube, and all that, dance would not have become such a popular thing. It would have just been a thing people do for those who love it, because I was always a part of it before it became popularized. Once it became popularized in, I think, 2008, when those shows started, then dance became like a thing so many people wanted to do all of a sudden. So it's definitely more opportunity now, but it's also a saturation in opportunity and a saturation in, see, no opportunity to me is a bad opportunity, because even if it is a not great opportunity, you still learn something from it. So even though there's way more opportunities out there, I don't think it's a lot of quality opportunities, because there's a lot of people out there putting shit content out and wanting dancers for it, and it's not quality and it's a waste of time for everybody. But back in the day, it was like you were getting picked for specific gigs. There was less, but they were more quality. So now there's just a saturation and there's just a lot of shit out there that's like unnecessary and shouldn't. Does that make sense?
that makes perfect sense to
Yeah.
me. You know what
But yes,
I'm
there
saying?
are tons of opportunities for somebody who has no knowledge to just
Ooh.
go get a gig easily off
Somebody
fucking.
got a question for you, sis. This is a good question. Somebody asked you, how do you determine what a quality opportunity is?
Okay, so I would say, oh, who is that? Oh, that's my son. I would say a quality opportunity is something where you're able to network, something where you're able to make money off of it, something where you're able to possibly book another gig off of that, something that can connect you to the next thing. A non-quality opportunity could be something where it's a one-time thing that gets you no visual, no promo, no networking, maybe low pay. So even though I wouldn't call it a bad opportunity, it's not as great as an opportunity. So a quality opportunity to me, more so than the money, is how you can network and build relationships with those folks or meet people there that can get you to the next thing. Like my Words event, for example. I love connecting artists. So Words is a very low-key black box theater style Vacaville event that has about 60 people at it every time. Some people look at it like a little show. That's cool, but other people come to that event, end up meeting 5 other artists, a
Fact.
producer, and a photographer, and now all of a sudden your next music video is popping because you hired the guy from Words. That's
Facts.
a quality opportunity.
That's
So it
all
doesn't matter if you made $7 off ticket sales that night. What matters is that you got a videographer locked in for life.
facts.
Yeah, so that answers that question. Back to my coffee.
Let's go. Let's go, sis. I love it. So where did you get your entrepreneur spirit from? Because you do a lot. You are a dancerpreneur. You know what I'm saying? Another fellow dancerpreneur. So where did that fire come from? Where did that spirit come from? You just,
Man,
you know.
I'm Middle Eastern, so I think the natural hustler in me just came from my upbringing, watching my dad own different stores and own businesses and just uncles and just seeing that. That was always, and it was just always something in me. Like I always had drive. Like I was always super ambitious. I'm the baby of the family. And
Okay.
and being told no, you know, was hard to hear sometimes when I was young, and I always felt like I had to prove myself in a way. So to me it was like, well, if I do this and I do it correctly and I prove myself, then it'll show this, and then maybe I can do this. So it was like this hunger that was just within me. Like I wasn't, you know, I truly believe that you're not taught to be a hustler. Like you're either born with that shit or you're not. I
Mm.
can I can sell milk to a motherfucking cow. Like, and I've always been that way. And I've
40
always,
voice.
yeah, without a doubt. So I feel like for me, like once I knew I loved something, I was like, I'm running with this. Like this is what I want to do. Anything
Right.
that makes me feel good, I'm running with this. Boxing, when I first started it, I was absolute trash. I'm still trash now, but like I was absolute trash. But I fell in love with it. And I was like, oh, I'm running with this. This ain't stopping. Like, you know, once I decide like what it is that I love or I want or I want to do or whatever the fact is, that's just how I've always been. And I always knew like I didn't want to work a 9 to 5, not because I don't respect the 9 to 5 hustle, because a job is a job, and if you got a job, I fucking respect you. But I
Right.
knew that if I was going to work a 9 to 5, I needed to be in a supervisor position. And for every job I ever had, I damn near was a supervisor in every
Mm.
position up until I left. And I'm a great student, so being told what to do is perfectly fine. But I just know that I thrive better when I'm able to delegate and do and compartmentalize. I said that word wrong. And like, you know, strategize and be organized. Like I like doing those things. That's the Virgo in me. And so that has always been something. Like I became a store manager of a toy store when I was 19 years old. Like what? Like I was 19 and I was made a manager of an entire fucking store because of just the way I was like on my shit all the time.
Yeah.
And that's, I've just naturally always been that kid, even through young adulthood. And then when I moved up to Vacaville from the Bay and I was teaching in the Bay, I was like, I want to keep teaching. So let me start. So I started some classes. Then eventually I was like, man, I want my own shit. I want to do this. I want to do that. I don't like sharing. I don't want to be under somebody else. I want to make my own hours. The fuck?
Right.
But, you know, it's like entrepreneurs are either the smartest people on earth or the stupidest because, A, we say, I don't want to work 40 hours a week and make money that way, but we'd rather work 100 hours a week and make less because we're stupid, you know? But I'd rather work 100 hours a week and make less to be able to say, oh, today I feel like sleeping in because we can do whatever the fuck we want.
Facts.
We don't
Facts.
have to wake up to go work for a corporation that don't care about us.
I give two fucks.
That gives zero fucks.
You lose your shit today. You something happening, you did. They don't give a fuck. They just gonna replace you.
Not at all.
That's
And so
simple.
and so I'm blessed to say I've built a team at the studio. I only hire from the inside. So these are all kids that grew up in the studio. I'm blessed to say that I've got them trained up enough to where if something happens, emergency, whatever, I'm like, boom, Salim, Lex, Josh, you're in charge. Run the whole studio. Asia, I'll be back.
Right.
Whatever. I can say that and they can handle business and I trust them and they're my babies and they honor me and I honor them. And so I'm able, and so it's just like being a boss of a business, but I don't feel like their boss ever, but it's kind of like that to where if I ever pull back, I absolutely can, and I trust it 100% because they have my best interest in place and I have theirs, you know. But I don't know if I answered your question, but yeah, I've just always had that hunger and that drive. That's just something that I feel like can't be taught. I think a big part of it is witnessing it, and you realize if it's in you or not. Like if you grow
Facts.
up watching hustle, if you grow up watching hustlers hustle, you either realize I need to learn how to hustle like this, or you go, "Oh, I'm just gonna go work a 9 to 5." You know, you become one or the other. That's it.
Yep.
And for me, like, I've seen all forms of hustling too. You
That
know,
was a
we've seen all forms of hustling out there, especially in the Bay Area. So I've seen it all.
right.
But it made me go, I can do legal hustles. And then, I mean, here I am. When I was 38, I was like, I need to pick up a side hustle, a legal side hustle. What should I do? What am I good at? And I'm sitting here asking this question to my boy Hong while rubbing my
Shout out
homeboy's
to
shoulder.
Hong, man.
Check
Shout
this
out.
out. My homeboy Jay was at the crib with Hong and somebody else, and I was rubbing his shoulders, and I was like, "What else am I good at, Hong? I need to pick up a side." He was like, "Why don't you go to massage school?" I said, "Oh my God, I never fucking thought about that." And then I signed up for massage school a month later, picked up this side hustle, and now I set my own schedule. I have 1 day a week at a chiropractor's office. That's my paper trail. I do 2 days a week for friends and family out the crib. I make all that money on the side so that I offset my costs at the studio. So, and I sell shit online. That's another side hustle I have.
Another
So,
string.
constantly finding legal side hustles to just keep money flowing. But like, why so late in life I decided to pick up a whole new trade? Then I picked up Reiki because energy work is a big thing for me too. I'm very much into that. And now I'm making a lucrative extra income on that. And the best part about it isn't the extra income. The best part about it is I picked up a skill that helps others. Because for me, it's like helping people has always been a passion of mine, no matter if it's through dance, through poetry, through performance, whatever. But if I'm helping other people get to the point where they can start healing, because you can't say like I healed that person. No, you became a vessel, but you can't heal somebody, right? So I consider myself a healer, but I would never say I healed somebody, right?
Right.
Because it's not us, it's spirit, right? So
Right.
if I can become that vessel to help others, help them heal and shit, like, man, that's way more important than the money side. But then to be able to get paid off doing something like that, double blessing.
Right.
Yeah.
Blessed. Hey man, that's funny because I was gonna get to the massage therapy stuff next. You know what I'm saying? And you you went right into that. So like, I personally got a massage by you before, so I know you extra official. I be
Next.
passed the fuck out.
Yeah.
But
Was me the
what is your experience like, you know, being able to massage people? Because I know I heard you talk about that before, like when you massage people, the different things that you feel, or a different type of inspiration that you get when you massaging somebody and you helping somebody heal. A ache, a back ache, a leg ache. So I know it's been some times where you didn't did some shit on my legs or something. I was like, what the fuck was that?
yeah.
Like,
Well,
explain that a little bit.
I've always just been intuitive, and that's something I've had as a child. Like my intuition, and I've always felt things, never knew how to describe them. I've always seen things and heard things, and always thought I was just making shit up in my head. I never knew how to decipher all of that. I got a little older and met certain people that made me realize, like, holy shit, I think I've had this gift this whole fucking time, and I had no idea. And I started looking back at shit like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, connecting all the dots. So I have a friend who does massage and is able to talk to your spirit guides while massaging you. And I always said to myself, like, that's raw as fuck. I wish I could do that one day. This was several years ago. Never thought I would actually be doing it. So I go to massage school finally at that point. And when I was doing clinics, which is when you're starting to work on people from like coming in and just practicing on them, I would get into these weird divine zones where I was like, what's happening to me? Why do I feel like this? I feel a certain way. What is this? Am I tired? I couldn't fucking figure it out. Lo and behold, I was having these spiritual experiences where I was feeling things from the other person. It's called transference. So I wasn't putting up enough of like a barrier and protection because I was like, they were transferring their shit to me and I was grasping it. I didn't realize that. And I had to like go ground out and go flush the energy out, because I didn't realize I was taking on their problems and their pains.
Right.
And then there were times where I would teach myself how to ground in and ground out properly. And then people would leave in tears and saying, oh my God, I feel this, that. And I'm like, what? Like, and I still didn't make the connection until like after I graduated school and started my own practice. And then all of a sudden, bink, I was getting messages. Like it started to get very strong. And I couldn't tell if these were my guides talking to me, their guides talking to me, their ancestors talking to me. I was like, I don't know who the fuck this is, but look, hey, can I tell you something? Like a lot of times I had to ask the client, like, I have a message for you. Are you open to hearing it? Because sometimes it's like people are not open to that world at all.
Right.
Sometimes it scares them. But I was told by one of my spiritual advisors, if you ever get a message for someone, it's important you tell them because that person needs to know. The message would not have came through if that person wasn't ready to receive it. So when you get a message, pass it on. Don't not pass it on, because what you're doing is you're disadvantaging the situation for that person. They need to hear it. So even if I thought the person wasn't spiritual, I'd have to ask them, like, I have a message, do you want it? And 99% of the time they're like, yeah. I've only a couple times people were like, huh? And I was like, oh, okay, you know, whatever, kind of let it go. Didn't want them thinking I was a weirdo, because, you know, some people don't believe in it.
Right.
But I've been spot on. So I'm like, I know it's not just, you know, I know my intuition is strong, and I know it keeps getting stronger, and I know I'll only get better at it. And that's why I wanted to do Reiki, because energy healing is so important. I can sense it on somebody immediately when I touch them, what they're going through, not just physically. Because I don't know what you know, but as far as physical pain goes, that's just mental anguish showing up in the body. It's not real physical pain. So, oh, your left knee hurts? Okay, so what are you doing in your life right now that's preventing you from taking a step forward? Right? It's always deeper than the knee pain. And, you know, that's a real thing. So then we are analyzing. Now it turns into a motherfucking therapy session and massage, because now we're chopping it up about what you got going on in your life that's preventing you from taking a step forward because your kneecap hurts.
Right.
It's really wild, brother. It gets really deep.
No, that's real.
And I love it. And I love this work. I love it. I don't get physically tired from massaging, but I get energetically drained.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you that. Like, do your hands get tired after a while when you do massage?
My hands and my body from like lunging, yeah, sure, they get tired, but like more than anything, I get spiritually drained. Like, imagine like a tube with all this stuff going in and out all day long. It's coming from spirit and it's going to the person, coming from spirit going, and you're just this vessel. You're a tunnel. You're a fucking tunnel. All day long, shit coming in and out, in and out, in and out. By the end of the day, you're tired, fucking tired. Not just physically, but like energetically. So if I don't go outside and shake it off and get some fresh air and ground myself in sage, you know, I'll end up transferring. You know, like I don't want to give them my shit. I don't want them to give me theirs. It's real. It's a real thing.
Powerful.
Oh, we got a question on here. My son.
Yeah, I'm reading it right.
When you become unmotivated.
Good question.
That's a real thing. Oh, wow. Yeah. There are moments where I get like creative block when it comes to dance, or even spiritual block, or there's so many times where I wouldn't even call it unmotivated, because I'm always the type to be like, man, bitch, get your ass up. Like, I don't sit there and dwell. I'm not the type of person to go, oh man, this sucks, let me just sit here and be sad all day. Like, if I wasted my day being sad, I'd be more mad at the fact that I wasted my day than about being sad. So like, what I'll do is I'll allow myself to be human, and I'll probably like give myself the hour or whatever it takes for me to feel the feelings of how I'm feeling. But then I'm like, okay, bitch, what you gonna do about it? You're unmotivated right now. What's causing the unmotivation? Let's make a list. I'm unmotivated because A, B, C, D, and E. Now, how can I fix each one of those?
Right.
A, I can do this. B, I literally like make lists. That's the Virgo shit in me. But then I go, do I really need to sit here and continue to be sad? Is that going to help me solve any problem I'm currently having? Like being unmotivated. Like for the gym, for example, like I feel like I'm not just letting my coaches down or my classmates down. I'm letting my bitch ass self down if I don't wake up at 7 a.m. to go to the gym. And to me, I'm like, yes, it's important that I don't let my coaches down. I don't let my teammates down, or whatever, for whatever class I'm going to. But ultimately, you're doing all that for you. You don't sign up to go boxing because you care about the coach. Like what I'm trying to say is like, you're not signing up to go boxing for the coach. You're signing up for you. So even though you don't want to let other people down, you're doing it for yourself. So
Right.
you should be your biggest motivation no matter what. We can feel unmotivated in the moment, but don't live in that shit. It's unnecessary. It's a time waster. It does not get you to the next best thing that you want to be in. It does not bring back motivation.
Right.
What's going to bring back motivation is you getting off your motherfucking ass and doing something that leads you back to your motivation. So
Right.
my biggest thing is don't dwell. Don't sit in that shit. Don't sit in your shit, because then you're just going to stink. Right?
That was a bar. Look, she rapping too. Look at this.
Bars!
Not even
My
trying.
I'm from the Bay. I'm drinking
So,
coffee every single
hey.
day. Bitch, I got bars. Remember that one time I did a crack with you? Oh my god.
My sister a fool, boy. So since we on that subject, you know, I know this is something you used to push on me when I was super young. So like I was asking Twan earlier, like, do you feel like health is talked about enough or at all in dance culture? So I know that's something that you always push was like, yo, take a glucosamine pills, make sure you drink your water, drink wheatgrass, and all that shit. You was telling me that shit when I was hella young, like. So I know that that's something that you passionate about, but do you think that it's being talked about enough or talked about at all, really?
Absolutely. In my studio, I'm on my kids about stuff like that, especially before events. I'm like, drink your water, eat healthy, stop eating like shit. We have signs that say no junk food and no energy drinks allowed. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yes, in my studio, that's absolutely important. I don't think it's talked about enough in other studios. And I think everything boils down from like who's in charge and who's directing, right? Just from what I've seen, I'm not talking shit about any studios or directors, obviously.
Nah, sure. Yeah.
Just based off what I've seen and what I've heard. Like, so I've seen and heard things like, oh yeah, we all do this and that with, you know, after an event, and this is the things we do, and we drink and we smoke and we eat like this. And I'm like, okay, that's what y'all want to do to prepare for the next competition. Cool. Like, that's what you do. But I couldn't honestly say that I know for a fact who does this and who does that, but I don't think it's talked about enough. I think a lot of people are more focused on the, like, they want to be on a dance team because they like to perform, not because they care about the process that leads to the performance.
Mm.
They want to
Break.
be able to say, I'm on a dance team, I'm competing, I'm performing, but oh, they don't want to run laps in rehearsal. They don't want to run laps in rehearsal. Why? They ain't got no stamina, and they got a motherfucking burger belly. Oh, could we talk about your eating habits
He
before
said,
we talk about?
yeah. I'm gonna take a
Could we
sip.
talk about? Could we talk about the way you drink and your beer belly before we talk about how you want to do a show or a competition? Like, do you really care about performing if you eat and drink like that?
That's real. That's real talk, though. That's a fact.
It's mostly adult teams that are like that are like, oh, they just like the idea of being on a team, but they don't take it serious. Well, and another thing you got to think about is like, why would certain people take teams serious if they know they don't want to pursue it forever and they just do it for fun? That I can understand. But if you're gonna be like, oh, we're just performing for fun, cool, do you. But if you want to start taking your shit to another level and compete on a high caliber, or take trips and travel and spend money to go to these places to compete, you have to take your shit more serious, your health. It's so important. Like, you got to clean the inside for it to show up on the outside. You can't have that stamina if you're eating pizza after rehearsal. What the fuck's that going to do for you? You just burned off 600 and you put back 1,000. Like, what are you doing? And I was always an overweight girl, don't get me wrong, but I've been overweight my whole life up until now. This is the first time I'm like the healthiest I've ever been. So I'm not saying this just because I'm healthy now, but even when I was a bigger girl, I still made healthy eating habits for the like 80% of the time. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got to be human and eat like shit once in a while, right? But even as a bigger girl, I still took care of myself. I still knew how to prepare before a show. I still knew not to eat like shit at certain times when I was getting ready to do something big, like a musical theater play or some sort of dance show or whatever I was doing. On days of shows, I eat super light. Like, I know what to do to prepare, you know, for those things. But and that's why I tell my dancers that. But at the same time, like, yeah, I don't know. I don't feel like a lot of dancers and dance studios do focus on that shit. And it should be a huge focus. It should be damn near one of the most important things. Like, for me, discipline, respect, and all that comes before dance at Bliss. Comes before dance.
Yeah, Faye don't be
But
playing that shit at her studio at
yeah,
all.
not at all. But like health, you know, health is wealth. It's more important than the actual dance moves. People need to know, like, if you're eating like shit, how you gonna get through the choreography?
Right. No, that's real. So, what would be a couple of things you think dancers can do to, keep their health up? Like name a couple of things like supplements or different type of, foods or fruits they can eat to help, keep their energy up, keep their body young, moving and loose.
Amino acids after every workout or every dance rehearsal. Aminos are super important because they help with muscle recovery. So especially if you're working out and then dancing and reviewing and repeating and reviewing and repeating, and then 2 hours later you're drenched in sweat and you go home and you don't stretch and you don't take aminos, that's what makes us sore. So stretch before rehearsal. So warm up and then stretch before you dance. And then if you don't stretch at the studio at the end of rehearsal with your team, which we don't do, once they leave, they can leave and do whatever they want. Go home and stretch while your body is still warm. Stretch and take aminos, or eat some protein immediately after your workout, or eat carbs right before. There's certain things that are really important to help with muscle recovery, and certain things that are really important for preventing soreness and lactic acid and all that shit. But for dancers, I mean, most importantly is carbs before you dance, protein after. The biggest thing. Amino acids are huge if you want to take liquid form or pill form. I take, because I'm still working on weight loss, I take a fat burner in the morning. I take a pre-workout when I work out. I take aminos right when I'm done. And then I just try to stretch as much as I possibly can. Stretching is going to prevent injury, especially when you're young. Start stretching now, because I'm telling you, by the time you hit 25, it catches up to you. And then it's only downhill from there if you're a performer, especially if you're a physical performer. Like if you're, especially if you're like a contortionist, or, you dance very aggressively.
Yeah.
You dance aggressively and you're 25 and you're doing all this crazy ass shit. When you're 35, you're going to be mad at yourself. I was young as fuck and I was reckless, injuring hella shit, didn't care, kept going, never took breaks. And now I'm dealing with all these aches and pains at 40. I can't perform at my best as a dancer because of old injuries from when I was 15. And that's from not taking care of myself. So that's one of those things where I'm like, dude, learn the lesson. Save your body. Save your fucking body so that you can still perform when you're 40.
That's real. That's real. Diamond, that's some game right there. That's real talk.
Yeah, foam roll, stretch, use a massage gun, stretch, get massages, go to the chiropractor, get acupuncture. All of these things are expensive. Take a probiotic, take your ginger shots, drink your kombucha, eat your green vegetables, whatever. You can call it square if you want to. I'm going to be a square all day because I want my body to last.
That's right. That's right.
Shit. Lay off the dairy, lay off the meat, cut down on the bread. Come on now. 2021, there's so many resources out there. You do not need that trash ass food in your body. It does nothing for you.
You heard it here, y'all. She gave you more than enough.
I'm over here talking hella shit for an hour. Damn.
So what would you tell an up and coming artist right now that's coming up that's like, hey, I want to be a dancer as a career. I want to maybe own my studio one day or just become an entrepreneur. What would you tell somebody coming up, a young bull coming up? What would you tell them in this era?
Train. And train first. You cannot be a leader of anything until you learn how to be a good follower. You cannot be a boss until you know how to be an employee. Take the proper steps. So people be like, I want to do that. Okay, well, there's a whole ass ladder and you're not going to skip 5 steps because you're going to end up falling. But if you take 1 step at a time, you'll get there in a nice steady speed. And you'll meet people along the way that you need to meet that's going to help you keep going up. Right? So the entitlement shit, that's the one thing I'll check somebody on first. You want to be a master choreographer? How many classes have you taken? The fuck? Get your ass in the studio and train. So if they want to be a dancer, it's train. Learn how to be the best at every style or whatever you're trying to do. If it's music, study the greats. Listen to music. Listen to cadences. Work on your flow. You know, do all the dirty work first, and then get out there and network and slowly like meet people, and then maybe do a gig here and there. And you know, don't jump the gun and get too excited and try to get booked for something huge yet. You know, like work your way up, like build, like get notches on your belt, you know, earn some stripes, do some pro bono work, meet the right people, network, be humble, get your head out of your motherfucking ass, and work hard like all the greats did. Work hard. Don't
Right.
just sit around and expect somebody to bless you because you're naturally talented. Everybody is naturally talented at something.
Facts.
So get the fuck up and work for it and be humble. Because that's another thing. Like, I don't give a fuck how talented you are. If you got an ego, I don't want to work with you.
Right.
I don't want to work with anybody who got an ego. Never that. You know?
Right. No, I feel you, sis. I feel you.
Yeah.
I mean, wow.
Yeah.
A
They want
lot.
to open a studio, I'll be like, well, here's where I failed. Here's what you should do. And then if they want to go to LA, I'd be like, here's the people to talk to that are in the industry that can give you all the right tools. Because I know people in all those worlds, but I may not have all the answers for them, you know? So
100%.
again, as long as I can plant the soil for them, man, anybody can water that.
Easy, easy. You know what I'm saying? And that leads me to my next thing. You know, like I tell everybody on here, that's part of my show is giving people their roses. You know what I mean? I know you probably get tired of me because I always try to tell you how much I love you and appreciate you, but
You
you know,
do.
just for the audience, you know what I'm saying? I do want to say, you know, a motherfucker, not just myself, but I think anybody who came in contact with you or seen your work know how much of a jewel you really is in the community. Like you really do the community work. And what you was talking about when she was saying earlier with words and the difference between a quality opportunity or non-quality opportunity, everything she was saying is real. Because I was one of those kids who had got one of those opportunities, which that opportunity at Words helped start my music career because that gave me a platform to actually come be creative and be able to come be myself with no bull politics, no nothing. So everything that you've been doing for over the years for all the youth that's a part of that, it's timeless. And you a jewel. This is one of my mentors. People always like, damn, Squirt, this is one of my OGs. I had solid OGs that thought this is one of my OGs who definitely gave me a lot of game, who always supported me. So I appreciate you, sis. You a motherfucking legend in this shit, a community leader in this shit. You got your war wounds, and you a fellow dancerpreneur. So you know I had to bring you up on here. You know your little boy had to, okay, I need you to pull up on me one time. You know what I'm saying? But I love you to death, man. You said a lot. I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch it and really process it.
Because I need to go back and listen too.
So thank you so much, sis. Before you get up out of here, plug where people can go support you. Where can they go donate, or where can they go buy some merch from you, or know when you got something coming up, maybe?
Yeah, so we're getting ready to go to Hip Hop International in a month, and we are raising funds for the dancers. I'll be posting that flyer today on Instagram. Our Instagram is at Bliss Urban Arts Center. Twitter is at Bliss Urban Arts. On Facebook, literally type in Bliss Urban Arts Center. My personal Instagram is Bliss Mama Faye. I'm very talkative. I'll chat with anybody who hits me. And also our YouTube is Bliss Hip Hop. And we're on Yelp, all the shit. Our studio is in Vacaville. We're bringing back our Fairfield program, the rec program. So we'll be in Fairfield again starting next month. We got two shows at the end of this month for my birthday party on August 28th. It's a words event, and I'm going to be headlining it. Okay. And then on we have a rec show the day before that, which is like a community event. And then September 18th is our summer showcase, which is right after Hip Hop International. So we do got some things coming up, and we're really excited about that. But we are fundraising for those kids going to HHI. So if anybody wants to financially support, please shoot the Venmo once you see the flyer, and we would greatly appreciate it. And we always take donations at the studio. We'll take cleaning supplies, masks, whatever, cases of water. If you want to support the community in any way, like I said, we're in Vacaville. Come by, check us out. Come say hi. Fuck it. We'll talk to you. Like, I'll stop rehearsal to chop it up with anybody who wants to come in and check out the space. We rent the space out if anybody wants to hold a class or a small party, or just to lab or do whatever the fuck you want to do, shoot a video, do a photo shoot, come through. Like, we're very community based, so easy to talk to. Come see us anytime.
100%, man. There y'all have it, man. Miss Faye, man. I appreciate your time, sis. You were jewel, like I said, man. Love you to death.
I love you too.
I appreciate you for coming on here. You know what I'm
Of course,
saying? Chopping it up with me.
for you. This is dope.
I appreciate that, for real, for real. You know, I was talking to you about I've been wanting to do this for a minute. You know, I was having
Yeah, that's right.
so it's exciting to be able to be in a position now to be able to have, you know, space to do it. So, but yeah, sis, you know, I'm gonna be pulling up. I'm gonna pull up on you. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna
My
get my boy called Future up in here to come build with me.
yeah, yeah.
All
Come
right,
to the.
love you, sis.
I love you too, brother. I'll talk to you soon. Okay.
All right.
Bye.